Hi, I'm Hannah Wallace and welcome to FinextraTV. We're here at Sibos 2022 in Amsterdam. With me now in the studio to discuss opportunities for banks moving forward is Monica Sasso from Red Hat. Monica, it's lovely to see you again. Thanks
You
for
too,
joining us.
Hannah. It's great to be in person rather than in my kitchen and in your spare room.
I know. We've been virtually speaking, haven't we? So it's really good to have you in the studio in person and talking about, a big topic, right?
Yeah.
And at the heart of many discussions in the sessions and on the floor. And I'm interested to hear what opportunities there are for banks because, famously, the big tech problem banks face is this inability to innovate independently.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk a bit about that challenge and what steps you think they need to take to succeed and move away from that.
Sure. So I think there's a perception, Hannah, that banks are not innovating, and I would argue that they've been innovating for quite some time now. If we look back in history, I really think that the Medicis cemented their view on innovation in banking when they thought of the double entry system, which seems pretty common now, but in 1397 it was not a thing to track debts and credits. And equally, if we look a little bit more recently, Nottingham Building Society launched the first online banking system in 1983. I mean, I have been alive a little longer than that. I'm sure you haven't, but to compare that with something that we all know today, Amazon launched its first marketplace in 2002. So not little old Nottingham Building Society was nearly 20 years ahead of Amazon. But the question here, Hannah, is it's about what it takes to be successful to innovate in 2022, not in 1397 or 1983. And like with all things, I like to look at them from the people, process, and technology angles. So from a people angle, it's really about entrepreneurship. It's about looking at the talent that you have in-house, nurturing it, empowering it, and trusting them to do the right thing for the bank and for its customers. From the second angle, process, there's kind of two things here. The first one is not innovating for the sake of innovating, because that's just a waste.
Yeah.
And the second thing is making sure that whatever you do nurtures the balance sheet, that it supports the balance sheet, because ultimately that's what the bank is there for. And then if we look at from a technology angle, it's about opening up the infrastructure, which is a step change for banks. But we've had open banking, we've had PSD2, so that has brought in open APIs, which is a step in that direction. And then the third side of that tech piece really is around embracing the open hybrid cloud. And that really allows banks to create these marketplaces for their customers to choose the right product at the right time for them individually.
Sure. Well, thank you very much for bringing us up to date and setting the scene there, Monica. And, unlike the fintech firms, traditional lenders can't take this fail fast mentality, can they? So what do you think the banks need to consider when testing new ideas, and what are some of the challenges there?
I think there's, again, a little bit of a perception change. I mean, banks do allow fail fast.
Okay.
I have seen some of that, having been, at some firms like Deutsche Bank and Coutts in the past, and also at Red Hat, we have seen this mentality a little bit. But certainly they have not adopted the mentality of fail fast and break things, like many startups have. And frankly, I don't want my pension broken.
Yeah.
None of us really do. But all jokes aside, I think there are three challenges that we really see banks face. The first one is how to modernize applications whilst keeping the business running and trying to bring in that innovation culture. And the second element, Hannah, as well, is how do you address the legacy people, process, and technology things that have gone on in the background? Because of course we've had these technology products in banks since 1983. And the last element really is education. Technology is pervasive now, it's everywhere. I have a tech writing pad here, you've got a paper pad, it's everywhere. We expect it in everything that we do. So therefore everybody that works in a bank needs to be au fait with technology and cloud native technology, and I don't really think they currently are. It can't just be IT now as the only tech expert in a firm.
Sure. So, as is often the way then, with these challenges come opportunities, they come hand in hand. So how do you think we can go about turning those challenges into these opportunities?
Obviously innovation is what we're focusing on today. It's something that is in the forefront of everybody's minds. It's all in social media, it's in job applications. But innovation really requires the right tools, it requires the right data. So there are opportunities for firms to modernize their older applications and capitalize on microservices, for example, or the flexibility that containers might offer them, whether that be opening up to different services in public cloud providers, or even to different things that they can build on-prem that they might not have had access to when you just had a monolith application. Sorry, we're getting very techy here, Hannah. But when modernizing this technology, banks can also open up different opportunities that they might not have foreseen, like capitalizing on some of the opportunities in the open source software community, like giving themselves portability, and reducing the risk of vendor lock-in. And these are really big topics right now with the regulators across Europe and the UK, and I think in America as well. And lastly, innovating isn't a just job. It does require management focus. It does require a senior sponsor. You do have to think about it. But also, the last thing I would love to say about it is you can't just innovate for 5%. You have to innovate for the majority of a bank's balance sheet. So you need to innovate for the majority of a bank's customers.
Sure. Some sound advice to end on, I think, there, Monica. And as always, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. And thanks for bringing us up to date. And it's good to hear your insights on this topic.
Yeah, my pleasure.
But thank you very much.